And welcome to Yoga for Cancer. I'm Rebecca, and I am so happy to be here with you today. So today's topic is coping with uncertainty. We are living in challenging times. How many times have we said this? Where uncertainty is the norm. And as cancer survivors, you are all well aware of the challenges of living with uncertainty. So, how do we find joy and gratitude and a passion for living on shifting sands? Yoga is a practice of learning to stay with discomfort, challenging poses that strengthen and stretch us, and stillness that reveals our innermost thoughts to us. Practicing gratitude, practicing presence, staying with whatever comes up is the great gift of yoga, along with longer, leaner muscles, stronger bones and muscles, and more space for breath. So, those of you who get my weekly email or who are Facebook friends with me may have seen a post I made of a poem by Dana Folds that has been speaking to me this week. I'll read it to you. Breathe in spaciousness and acceptance of what is. Breathe out resistance. Breathe in possibility and optimism. Breathe out fear and doubt. Breathe in ease. Breathe out the need to change the way this moment is unfolding. Breathe in the certainty that what we really are is so much bigger than pain and suffering. Breathe out limitation and conditioning. Breathe in divinity and openness. Breathe out a prayer of thanks that even in the midst of difficulty, there is awareness. Take a moment to get settled in your seat, sitting up tall with a live, awake spine, feeling very grounded, rooted to the earth beneath you, reaching up through the crown of your head to the sky above you. Take a moment to notice what's around you today. What are the sounds that you hear? The light that you see? What are the textures around you? I'm feeling the smoothness of my yoga pants and my sticky mat beneath my feet, my hard wooden meditation bench under my seat. Notice the air. Is it moving in your space? And then allow your eyes to close or take a soft gaze. Shifting to a more internal focus by noticing the breath. Where is it? Where do you find your breath? Is it at the tip of your nose? I'm finding it in the back of my throat today. Or maybe in your belly. Allow your attention to focus on the sensation of breath moving through the body. As you inhale, use it to sit taller, creating more space. As you exhale, use it to connect you, to ground you, to release into the ground beneath you. Inhale, spaciousness in the inner body, opening, growing. Exhale in towards center, creating that strong core. Let's stay with 10 breaths moving between earth and sky. As you approach your 10th breath, release control of the breath, knowing that the body breathes without our control. But we'll come back to that focus again and again during class, noticing how the breath changes and noticing how our awareness changes. So let's continue with our sun breaths. Inhaling, arms floating up, palms up. Come up just as high as you can comfortably. Exhale, turn your palms down and float the arms down. Beginning to connect this movement with your breath. So it takes the whole inhale for arms to rise and the whole exhale for arms to float down. We'll do a few more. Throughout class, when we inhale, we'll be rising up, opening up, expanding. When we exhale, we'll be grounding, sinking, maybe contracting. One more inhale, reaching tall. And then let's come into a side bend, bringing your hand down. You can extend your arm or bend your elbow or even have a hand on your hip. But breathe into your side body, feeling your side ribs expand, feeling your waist open. Inhale, coming up through center, and exhale to the other side. Stay and breathe. Feel that opening. Use the breath to stretch from the inside out. And now we'll move a little more. Exhale, inhale, exhale, and switch. And once more to each side. And the next time that you come through center, stay here, sitting up nice and tall. Let's move into twist. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, left arm to right knee, right arm behind you. Inhale and grow tall. Exhale, squeeze and turn. Inhale, arms float up and over to the other side on the exhale. Inhale to create space and exhale. Use the breath to twist. Take your time. A few more repetitions moving side to side, staying for one or more breaths. And this or the next time that you come through center, pause here, and we'll move on together. Moving to tabletop, if hands and knees is a position of comfort for you or doability. If not, then please remain seated and I'll try to cue you from there. So make sure that you have something underneath your knees. I use a little extra pad. You can use a folded blanket or a pillow. Having your knees underneath your hips, your hands or fists or forearms underneath your shoulders. If you're seated, sitting up nice and tall, hands and knees lengthen the spine, reaching crown and tailbone away from each other. Let's do some core exercise here. So you could do this seated as well. Inhale, soften the belly. Exhale, draw the belly in, squeezing in, lifting, squeezing in the belly button towards the spine. Inhale, soften and let it go. Exhale and squeeze in. There's a sensation of, inhale to let go, of bringing the front points of your hips towards each other as you exhale. Drawing in the low belly, middle belly, and then releasing that squeeze on the inhale. One more time. Exhale, squeeze in, and let it go. And now we'll stretch it out with our cat and cow. Inhale and lift your tailbone, send it behind you. Relax your belly and reach through your crown. Exhale, tuck, draw your tail underneath you. Belly comes in and up, release your head. It's the same movement seated, opening the front body on the inhale and squeezing in towards center on the exhale. Couple more here. Use this as an exploration of where you are today, what's moving fluidly, and what needs a little extra softening or breath. And the next time that you come through neutral pelvis, stay here. With a gentle engagement of your low abdomen, send your left leg out, maybe behind you, or if you're seated, in front of you. Stay right here, or contracting in the low abdomen, see if you can lift your leg up to hip height. Pressing out through the heel. Get really, really strong in the middle body. Stay right here, or reach through the opposite arm. That arm can reach up if you're seated or out in front of you. And we'll hold for 3 and 2 and 1. Release, release, and shift a little bit from side to side. So here we're building strength in the abdominal muscles and the glutes and the legs. And we're also working on bone density by having this weight bearing on our hands and knees, or fists or elbows. Okay, other side. Extending the leg out. Try to keep your hips level, right? So I could come, if I were in the room with you, and place a teacup right on your sacrum, and it wouldn't spill. Stay here, drawing the abdomen in, or add that opposite arm reach. Reaching for 3 and 2 and 1. Release down. Wiggle from side to side. Walk your knees open wide, toes together. Settle your hips towards your heels and begin to come down for child's pose. You can stay right here on your forearms. You can stack fists or stack hands. If your forehead reaches all the way to the mat, that's wonderful too. If you're seated, just relax with elbows on your knees for support. Big breaths here into your back body. As you inhale, feel your back ribs expanding. Feel the back of your waist expanding. As you exhale, see if you can settle a little more into your hips. One more breath. Let it go. And then inhale, rising back up, draw your knees underneath your hips. We're going to work with a dynamic thread the needle pose. So actually, I think I'll turn to face you for this. So from this same position, I'm going to inhale the right arm up. Now you can come out to the side or up to the ceiling, whatever feels best to you. As you exhale, draw this arm in between your body and the other arm and twist. Inhale and open. Exhale and twist. If you're seated, you can just do a twist. Inhale to open. Exhale to twist. 2 more. Inhale to open. Exhale to twist. Last one. Inhale to open. This time we'll place a hand or fist down and move to the other side. Inhale. See if it's the same on this side. Exhale, twist. Maybe your arm just comes out to shoulder height on this side. Exhale, twist. Maybe it comes up a little higher or reaching towards the ceiling. Two more. Last one. And bring hands down. We're going to make our way up to standing. So please take advantage of your props. I have a chair here, so I'm going to use that. Make sure it's not going to slide out from under me, and I can make my way all the way up to standing. Take a moment to find your Tadasana, your standing, mountain pose. And I forgot to mention, we are going to be using blocks today. So if you have blocks, please go grab them. And if you don't, then see if you have something you can use to squeeze in towards. So it could be a small, dense pillow. It could be a folded up blanket or a towel, maybe a rolled up towel. Just something we're going to be placing it between our ankles and feet and legs. I'm going to use my bright blue block so you can see. So let's start first, block to the side, feet about hip distance apart. Standing up nice and tall, reaching down through your fingertips and up through the crown of the head. Take a moment here to rock a little bit forward and back, shifting your weight between your heels and the balls of your feet. And then settle in a balanced place. Notice that it may not be where you're used to standing, like maybe you're off to one side normally, or maybe you stand really far back in your heels or gripping your toes. Try to find that place of balance right in the center. From here, activate your legs, meaning lift up your kneecaps gently, move your legs towards each other, lifting the pelvic floor, lifting, drawing in the low belly. Let's inhale and reach up, palms come together. Exhale, draw them right to heart center. We'll do that 2 more times. Once more. And pause for a moment right here. Pressing palms in. Feel that activation. Keep lifting and squeezing through the legs, through the abdomen, reaching through the crown. It's very active. We're not just standing up. And then let it go and shake it out. So mountain pose could seem like, we're just standing here, but it's very activated. We're activating all the way up the body, drawing in. So let's try this with a block. So I'm going to place the block, for me, at a medium width between my shins. And it's below my knee is up here, and above my ankle. Now, this may or may not be comfortable for you. You can turn it and have it on the lowest width, if that's better for you. But we want to keep our hips and our legs at hip distance apart. So once you get your block and you're gently squeezing just to keep it from falling, right? Make sure it's a block that's not going to hurt your feet if it did fall. And then gently begin to rock side to side, front to back, and find that point of balance once again. Take a moment here to squeeze in, hugging the block, lifting the pelvic floor, lifting the low abdomen, reaching up through the crown. Let's inhale and reach. Maybe look up a little bit. And then exhale and lower arms down. Reach down through your fingertips and up through the crown of the head. Gently squeeze that block. Keep squeezing it. And then release it. I know who could think that squeezing a block could be a workout, but if you really engage, it can be quite engaging. Okay, so from there, we're going to move to a chair sequence. So for chair, I'm going to place the block between my thighs, above my knees. I'm turned sideways. And I'll show you first. So I have it sort of front to back on the lowest height, because that's what works for my hips. And this way I can squeeze in at the top of my legs in towards center. And yes, if you're using a pillow or something, you just want to be able to squeeze in, but make sure it's dense enough so that you're not pressing your legs smack together. We want to keep that hip distance, okay? Turning sideways so that you can see my body shape as we go through this pose. So we've done chair pose before. In chair pose, we will begin to sit back as if there were a chair behind us that's a little too far away, and we have to reach back. I'm bracing my hands on my thighs above my knees, and I'm sitting back in such a way that I have control, right? So you're not going to sit and fall backwards, but make sure that your knees are over your ankles, not coming forward. And your spine is nice and long. Keep your belly engaged. Reach through the crown of your head. Squeeze your block. And inhale, press down, squeeze in, and rise all the way up. Okay, that's our first choice, and you can always repeat that choice with hands on your thighs. This time, we'll, if you like, sitting back, I'm reaching forward, which gives me this kind of counterbalance, right? The more I reach forward, the more I can sit back. Look down and make sure you can see your toes. Squeeze your block. Inhale and reach. Exhale and reach behind you like a downhill skier. Inhale, sweep your arms up, and exhale back. One more time. Sweep forward, exhale back, and inhale all the way up. Exhale and release arms down. Can you do one more? If not, please just rest. Move over a little so I don't keep hitting the wall. All right. So once more, squeezing in towards center. Inhale, sitting back, reaching forward. Release hands down, palms pressing behind you. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, press back. Inhale up, press back. And this time we'll inhale all the way up and release arms down. Remove the block. And take a minute to shake out. Notice where you're feeling this sequence. I feel it mostly in my thighs, but a little bit in my core, in my abdomen, a couple of other places. So let's move to tree pose. And I'm going to teach it with the block. You can do this, or make sure that you have support around you, because this balance pose is standing on one leg for a bit. So fingertips to a wall, to a sturdy piece of furniture. Maybe you bring your block between your feet. If you're using the block, hug in towards center. Squeezing in. I always love this sensation, like snuggling into the block. And see how it helps you to engage all of those inner leg muscles, pelvic floor, low abdomen, and reach up nice and tall. Exhale and bring one or both hands to heart center. Maybe one hand is on support. From here, look ahead and find a focal point, something to rest your eyes on. Maybe it's on the horizon line or a little bit lower. Maybe it's higher. Take a moment to find that spot now and keep your eyes rested there. Squeezing in towards center, get really strong and tall. And then begin to send roots down through your left leg, lifting your right heel up. Turn out at your hip and rest your heel on the edge of the block if you're using it. You could stay right here, or bring the ball of your foot to the block, or bring your foot to your calf or thigh above or below your knee, or down at your ankle. Wherever you'd like to stay for tree pose. Try to avoid letting that hip pop out to the side. Keep it up and underneath you. Lots of strength. Drawing in and up. Make sure your breath is flowing along with the energy to move and grow branches, lifting, reaching. Lots of sturdy, grounded energy in your lower body and this buoyant, open energy in the upper body. And we'll be here for 3, 2, and 1. Hands to heart center. Come back to 2 feet. Maybe shift side to side, walk it out if you need to. And then come to stillness. Take a breath. Reestablish your focal point. Reestablish your mountain pose right here, Tadasana. And then begin to send roots deep through the right leg, lifting the left heel. Turn out at the hip so the whole leg turns out, and rest your heel. Again, make sure you're not popping that hip. Keep it up and under you. Stay here or lift here or here, above or below your knee. Eyes on your focal point. Lots of steady energy, drawing breath up through heart center, opening the canopy of your tree. Can you lift and grow up and ground and grow down through your root system? Here for 3, 2, and 1. 2 feet down, hands to heart center, maybe walk in place, gently hugging your block. Hands at heart center. Maybe, if it's safe, close your eyes and feel your balance from the inside out. And then release and let it go. We're going to go through a half sun salute, Surya Namaskar. And it's helpful to have blocks or a chair because we'll be doing a forward fold and want to put our hands on something. So I'll show you with both blocks and with a chair, and then you can decide what works best for you. So starting with blocks, I'm going to show you the sequence, and then I'll talk you through it, and we'll do the same with the chair. So I'm starting here in my mountain pose. I'm turned sideways so you can see my long spine. Inhale and reach up. Exhale, come forward, hinging at the hip. See how long my spine is. At a certain point, I need to bend my knees to maintain the long spine. Then I can reach my hands down to my blocks, or I can probably show you both at the same time, or hands to a chair. Make sure you know it's not going to slide. From here, we'll inhale and lengthen the spine, reaching through the crown of the head. Exhale and soften. And then shifting into your feet, maybe hands to knees. Inhale and come all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Okay? I'm going to do that 2 more times. Inhale up, reach. Exhale, long spine, hinging at the hips. Bend your knees, hands to your supports. Inhale, lengthen, reaching the crown of the head, reaching the tailbone. Exhale, soften. And then inhale and come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more time. Come to stillness here. And let's complete our standing sequence with just a little bit of flying crane. Inhale, wings come out, lift your leg. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale and exhale. Now move with your breath. Can you make this fluid? Just a few more. And last hold here. One more mountain pose. And then we'll make our way down to sitting. Take advantage of your props. If you have them handy, you can take your forward fold and then step back, lower one knee, and then the other, and then sit off to the side. Let's bring soles of feet together, knees apart, and begin by rocking from side to side. And come to some stillness. Notice here if you're rolling onto your tailbone or if your knees are really high up. And that's an indicator that you need to sit up a little higher. So I'm going to grab my bolster and place it behind me. Then I'll sit right on the edge of it. Right, so I'm not way back, but I'm towards the front so that I can let my legs drop and my sits bones stay connected to the bolster. If you still feel like you're rolling back, maybe you need to sit a little higher. So add a pillow or another cushion. From here, we'll inhale, hands somewhere along your leg for support, reaching up through the crown. Exhale, and just try to soften and let the legs drop open, softening in the hips. We'll do that a few times. Notice how, as we work in the more challenging poses, in the more still poses, the breath guides us. The breath is what takes us from place to place, from shape to shape. Yoga means to yoke, to put things together. And some of the things that are being put together are breath and movement. And that connection of breath and movement is what gives us space to be present, gives us focus to endure. From here, let's just walk the legs out in front of you. Make little bounces. Maybe windshield wiper to release the efforts of the standing practice. Now, we're going to come to a wide-legged seat. So as you do this, pay attention to whether or not you feel pressure in your knees. Sometimes, especially if you're sitting up on a cushion, you may feel some pressure in your knees. So to counteract that, you can place a small block or a rolled up blanket, or this is a pad. You can roll it up and place it underneath one or both of my knees, just so that when my legs straighten, they're pressing into something and not hyperextending in the knee. So get yourself comfortable and secure. And if you have blocks handy or a cushion in front of you, bring them forward. Let's inhale and reach up. And exhale, begin to come forward with a long spine. Now, you may not go very far. We want to avoid rounding, right? We stay nice and long. So it's all happening, tipping at the hips, hinging at the hips. Once you find your edge, let your hands come down, maybe to blocks or to the ground. Lower these just a little bit. And then I'm going to use my hands on this surface to help me get long. So as I inhale, I'm going to gently pull back so that I can use that action to help me lengthen the spine. As I exhale, soften and see if there's any more space. And again, avoid letting a rounding happen in your low back. If this feels too intense, walk your feet in a little closer, bend your knees. So let's stay for 3 breaths, inhaling and extending, exhaling and softening, maybe coming forward. And last time. Stay for a breath right here. And then pressing into your hands, walk yourself back up. Move my blocks. Then I'll draw my legs in. And again, just little bounces and release. Let's make our way onto our backs. So go ahead and remove your cushion if you have it. And slide out onto one side. And you can gently roll onto your back. Make sure that there isn't too much prop detritus in your way. Bending your knees, having your feet and knees about hip distance apart. Take a moment here just to settle, allowing your hips to be heavy, your shoulders to be heavy, the back of your head to be heavy. Let your arms be heavy. Stay right here, or walk your feet in to touch and let your knees drop open. Now, this may be too intense. If it is, you have some choices. One is to take your blocks and place them underneath your thighs, just to give you a little more support. That's one option. And the other is to come out of the pose. So I like to bend my elbows, bring my hands onto my body, maybe onto my rib cage or belly, and allow my knees to drop open, softening in the inner thighs. I'll take 3 breaths here. And then carefully walk your feet out. You can walk them out towards the outer edges of the mat.
And then let your knees drop in towards center. This is an alternative. Notice which is more comfortable in your body, or maybe they both are, or neither. That's perfectly okay. We're working to find mobility, to find comfortable range of motion, and to lengthen and strengthen. So walk your feet back in, knees and feet hip distance apart, close to your body, hands down at your sides. We'll do a little bit of bridge work. Pressing into your feet, pressing down with your hands, lift your pelvis an inch or more off the mat. Slowly lower back down. Inhale and press. Lift up, maybe lift a little higher. And exhale and lower. Inhale and lift, pressing down. This time stay through the exhale. Inhale and press up. Maybe you can come a little bit higher. And exhale, slowly lower down. Stay with any part of this sequence, lifting and holding for another several breaths. If you have a block handy, you could try placing the block between your thighs and see how it changes this action. Gently squeezing in towards center, pressing down to lift up and lower. Take a few more breaths to work with your bridge pose. And when your bridge feels complete, go ahead and draw your knees in, hugging them in, maybe rocking from side to side. You can hold one hand on each knee. You can hold the backs of your thighs. Some people can wrap all the way around their shins. Whatever feels comfortable for you. Come to stillness and keep holding on to your left knee. Allow your right leg to come down to the mat. You can stay right here or try sliding that right leg long, flexing through your foot, keeping your leg engaged, knee and toes pointing towards the ceiling. You can stay right here or begin to lift your head and shoulders as if you could bring your nose to your knee. Pause here, maybe add a lift of the extended leg for 3 and 2 and 1. Release and let everything go. Mini Savasana. Draw your feet back in to your starting position. Let's draw the right knee in. We're holding it in. Staying right here or slowly extending the left leg. Holding here or exhaling and lifting head and shoulders as if you could bring your nose to your knee. Maybe you can. I can't. Stay here or add a lift of the extended leg. Holding wherever you are for 3 and 2 and 1 and release. Let everything go. Mini Shavasana. When you're ready, draw your feet back in. going to end with a twist. Now, some of you may be most comfortable with just the gentle knees side to side, and that's perfectly fine. If you'd like to try something different, go ahead and cross your left leg over your right. Now, this is technically eagle legs, and some people can double cross, like hook their ankle around their other calf. I can't do that. If you can and you'd like to, please feel free. From here, pressing down into your hands and into your standing foot, your right foot, lift your hips and shift them over just a little bit to your left. And then draw your knees down to the right. Your arms can come out at shoulder height or in cactus or goddess arms. If this feels uncomfortable, please come right out on an exhale and go back to a twist that you've done before that you like, or just rest in modified constructive rest pose with your feet wide and your knees dropping into center. You can, if you're in the twist, you can try turning your head in the opposite direction of your knees. And stay for a few breaths, breathing and softening. Where can you let go a little bit more? When you're ready to switch sides, inhale and slowly draw your legs up to center. Release your foot down and shift your hips back to center. Crossing right over left, double crossing if you can. Press down into your feet and jog your hips over to the right. And dropping your knees over to the left. Maybe your head turns in the opposite direction. Notice if the twist is different on this side. And again, if you feel any discomfort, please come out and do something else. If you're holding in the twist, notice where you can let go. Be very aware of where you feel this stretch. And when you're ready, inhale, drawing your legs up towards center, 2 feet down. Shift your hips to center. And last time, drawing your knees in, rock and roll. Take a moment to notice if there's a posture or a series of postures that you would like to do to complete your practice. Maybe a figure 4 stretch, happy baby, or something else entirely. Just take a moment to notice and then move into your Savasana or rest pose. Taking your time to complete your practice and then making your way into a comfortable Shavasana. For Shavasana, you can lie on your back with cushions under your knees and under your head. You can lie on your side with a pillow between your knees. You can sit up against a wall. Or any comfortable position where you can take some rest, allowing the body and mind to integrate the practice. Once you find your comfortable Shavasana, allow your breath to be smooth and steady. With each exhale, letting go a little bit more into the supports beneath you. With each inhale, expanding, opening the inner body. With each exhale, releasing and letting go through your feet, ankles, lower legs, upper legs, and hips. Soften in the groin. Even the pelvic floor can be released. Soften your low belly, middle belly. Allow your arms to fall out to the sides, tucking your shoulder blades underneath you. Maybe your palms are up or down, whatever's comfortable for you. Allow your head to be heavy. If you're sitting, let it balance on top of your neck. If you're lying down, let it release, chin gently tucked. Softening in the shoulders and the neck, the jaw. Allow the muscles of your face to soften and let go. Around your eyes, between your eyebrows. Smoothing out your forehead and unwrinkling your brow. Release, relax, and just let go. Something in me is being pulled out at the roots, thrashed on the ground, the tender parts bared, beaten, left to dry and blow away like so much chaff. Something is dying. The clear sky of mind is obscured by cloud and illusion. The moon neither rises nor sets now, and the debts of a lifetime demand payment. This is when faith is tested. The choice to discredit what I know and crawl into a hole of my own making will leave me bereft of any consolation. To be present in pain is the only path worth taking. To acknowledge light is not denying darkness. But oh, how hard it is to recall there is a choice, a chance to ask for strength and grace. And in the asking, there is the subtlest of shifts, an opening, nearly imperceptible, an opening to receive. There is one ray of light, then more. I open the door, take one deep breath, and begin another day. Begin to deepen your breath, bringing small movements into fingers and toes. When you feel ready, roll to one side and pause. And then press into your hands to slowly come up to sitting, allowing your attention to remain deeply inward for just another moment or two. We'll seal our practice with one chant of Om for the community we create when we practice together. If you'd like to join, bringing hands to heart center, we'll inhale. Om Shanti, peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me and with each other.